has been built now over half a century. There have been generations of people before us, and there are generations to come. Institutions like this are not lightly built. Communities band together, they decide to build these facilities in order to, g'day mate, in order to make a difference, for our school communities. Number two, consultation. If you actually believe in community, if you're going to bring about a change, you consult the community. The hallmark of these decisions on the part of this LNP government is total wall-to-wall arrogance. They simply put it out through the media. It stinks. It absolutely stinks. Initially they denied something was going on. Then we had to draw it out of them, like getting blood out of a stone. There was a rumour kicking around that they're about to close Mount Gravatt State High School. And we embarrassed them, I think, into backflipping on that. Then there was the rumour going around about the closures, and you're right, it's not mergers, it's closures of classes here and classes at Coorparoo. And then we had to pull that out of them as well because they're trying to do it in secret. And just like we had rumours as well, which we then had to get them to confirm that they're in the business of privatising school playing fields over there at Whites Hill College, flogging off the ovals, and at Balmoral High School, flogging off the ovals. This, my friends, in this local community, there's one word for it. It really stinks. It really stinks. Both of these secondary schools lie in the constituency which is my privilege to represent in the Parliament of Australia. I have been to these schools so many times over the years that I almost know every classroom. State High, Coorparoo College, in fact I've got something like 60 or so schools in my electorate altogether. These schools matter. Parents send their kids to these schools for a reason. Picture for a moment the anxiety on the part of parents at Coorparoo or State High wondering what will happen to my kid in the future. Can they do the subjects which they've selected? Will they be able to do the full range of things that they can currently do? Will Coorparoo Secondary College have a viable long-term future? These are the questions which mums and dads in the real world, in the real community, are asking themselves right now as we speak. Quite recently in the State Parliament, last week, 4 weeks ago, that the $40 million had been allocated. The question for John Paul Landbrook, the question for Campbell Newman is, what have you done with the community's $40 million? Yeah. Provision is made, planning was done, and to use the real estate that's been acquired. Because guess what? We're not Robinson Crusoe. I actually get around the country a bit. I actually get around the world a bit. In fact, the Libs always attack me for getting around the world a bit, but leave that to one side. Schools, inner city schools, exist the world over. And do you know what they do? They build with planning and precision and with intensity to make it work on the real estate that they've got available. It can be done. It's done elsewhere, and great schools are preserved. Let me go to Coorparoo Secondary College, a fantastic Queensland secondary college. And people send their kids to Coorparoo for specific purposes. It's a great environment. There are something like about 500 kids at Coorparoo Secondary College, and when I hear them say, quietly out of George Street, that there are not quite enough numbers to make it work in the future, I just remind them what the good people said before about what's happening with urban consolidation here in inner Brisbane. And that includes Coorparoo. The population in the inner city is going through the roof. So what do these mad people decide to do? Flog off the green space, flog off the school playing fields, close classes in 2 of our major local secondary schools. Dumb, dumb and dumber. It depends on the community at Whites Hill College to actually change a government decision. You've got to unite, form a united voice between the P&Cs, get in there and make your voice known in George Street. because their interest is to keep this off the television news. Their interest is not to be seen to be in the arrogant bunch of so-and-sos that they are, in shutting schools around the state, in merging other schools, which is their language for closing classes, and privatising school playing fields across the state. They don't want that on the news. Your job is to put it on the news as a local community and say we are angry about it. And your presence here demonstrates community support for this proposition. Taking on government can sometimes be a bit scary, but when the decision is so dumb as this one, as it's been at Whites Hill to privatise a school playing field, as it's been at Balmoral High, just over that way, to privatise more school playing fields, which countless generations before us have levelled, helped develop, laid the concrete, bought the Massey Ferguson tractor, helped with the fundraisers to turn these school precincts into what they've become for our generation. There is one course of action: for the community to unite behind your local leaders, your local P&Cs, and to send the message to George Street, because where political pain is delivered to them, they will finally listen. Get behind these people. We can stop this thing. With a united voice, we can actually make them change their mind.